Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Repeat Ron, and today we're going to be talking about the anomalies in Deep Rock Galactic. The anomalies are just the bonuses that you can get in different missions, and I'll be going over how good or bad I think they are. We'll be using our trusty tier list here. The lower they get, the less useful they'll be, but keep in mind all of these are bonuses, so none of them are bad. They're always good. And then all the way up to the best ones that you can get. And best ones is really going to depend on what you value the most. If you're trying to level up or if you're trying to make a whole bunch of money, certain ones might do better than others, specifically for you. So this is going to be a very, very subjective list and just my opinion on them. So let's get started. The first one we have is critical weakness. This one makes it so hitting an enemy in their weak spot makes it so they take twice the damage. That is really good. Just double damage on enemies makes certain weapons feel way more consistent, at least without like overclocks or without if you can't buy the damaging skills or whatever skills you want to get for your weapon. Like the engineer submachine gun is a good example of this, where if you have nothing on it, it feels very underwhelming. It's a very underwhelming weapon without any sort of perks on it and without any sort of overclock. But with just adding this, having critical weakness, so you deal double damage when you hit stuff in the weak spot, it makes it feel way more consistent and way more useful. This does not affect any bug that does not have a weak point, though. So loot bugs don't get affected by this. That's just how it is, but hopefully you're not having trouble fighting loot bugs. I would certainly hope not. This also does not count for any weapons that deal damage over time effects, so anything like the flamethrowers, fire on the ground, dealing damage, and just the flamethrower can't hit weak points anyway, so it just burns them. Flamethrower doesn't get any bonuses from this. Same with if you have a weapon like the grenade launcher that engineer has, but you put the fat boy on it, which does radiation damage afterwards. This one's really good though, especially if you're going on a elimination mission and you have to fight dreadnoughts, because then you're just dealing double damage when you hit them in their weak point. This one's just all around fantastic. It's a great one to see, and it's probably one of the best ones to see, because even with any sort of, like any one of the mutations added to a map, it doesn't matter if you see critical weakness there a lot of the time, because you know it's going to be so much easier then. Double XP is next. This just makes it so you get double XP, as well as this isn't just completing the mission that gives you bonus experience if you complete any of the mini games, or if you get anything that gives you bonus experience throughout the mission. This will just count towards it, so you get more experience. This one is kind of hard to rank, because if you're just looking for more experience, if you're trying to get up levels quicker, if you're trying to get to like the promotions faster, then this one's definitely like S tier for you. If you're already really high level, you don't really care if there's a whole bunch more XP, then it's probably D tier for you. So it can go either way, just depending on your level of how much do you want this. And I guess I'll just put it at its highest spot rather than at its lowest spot. So if you want bonus XP, you can get bonus XP. So I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. Up next we have Gold Rush. This makes it so gold veins are twice as likely to appear in the mission. This is really good if you have the pots of gold buff from the bar, because that just makes it so you fill up your bags faster with gold, and just having more gold is nice. Unless, of course, you're really high level and you have no reason for gold, in which case you wouldn't care, and this would go in the same place as the experience. I don't think this is as needed as experience, unless you're just really into buying all the cosmetics as quickly as possible, or buying all the perks to your weapons as quickly as possible. I'm usually in need of gold, but experience is always nice. I don't know though, because I think I'm getting to the point where experience is not as necessary, where I already have all of my classes at least promoted once or twice, and you know, experience is nice, but gold is a little bit nicer because I want to get those cosmetics and stuff. I'm going to put it in A tier just because it's always going to be useful. Next up is golden bugs. This makes it so every single bug that you kill will leave gold on the ground, with some exceptions like any of the small enemies, swarmers, jellyfish, stuff like that. The pot of gold beer buff does not apply to this, because that's only to mined gold that you get from like the gold rush. So this one can be better and can be worse than Gold Rush. You're going to be, depending on how long you plan on staying, depending on what type of mission it is, depending on how many swarms you get and how efficiently you can kill them, this can be worth more than the gold veins. The gold veins are way more consistent though, especially if you have pots of gold, then it's just going to be giving you more gold from that. But, you know, having this is never a bad thing either. It's just you get passive money for killing stuff. You're going to be killing stuff regardless of what mission you're on anyway, so you might as well make some more gold from it, right? I guess I put this one in B tier. Not as cool as seeing some of these other ones, but not bad. All right, up next we got low gravity. This makes it so, well, you have low gravity on the map, so you can jump much higher and you can fall much further safely. You will also be able to fall much further without taking as much fall damage too, so that's pretty nice. You can get the Tunnel Rat Beer added effect from this, which makes it so you take less fall damage, although it's usually not necessary because of the heights that you need to fall in order to take fall damage aren't going to be like a regular thing in most maps. Especially if you're playing certain classes like this buff doesn't really do a whole lot for like Scout, where you can just use your grappling hook to get anywhere or to stop you from falls. Especially if you're running hover boots with that, then low gravity is pretty neglectable for you. It just makes it so if you forget to use those things, then you're probably not going to take that much damage. It's kind of a nice one to see pop up. You can throw things further too with this. So you can throw any sort of large, like if you find a gold chunk or something, further than you normally would. On certain missions, it's kind of nice. It's always just like a nice buff. It's just, it doesn't change the game too very much a lot of the time for more experienced players. It's really good for newer players though, because newer players tend to fall off things easier. Yeah, I think fall damage is actually the thing that kills people the most in this game. I think that's what the official Deep Rock survey said, is that more people die from just falling off stuff than anything else. So it's not bad for that. I mean, if you don't fall off stuff though very often, then this one's just kind of a nice thing. And if you do, it's even a better thing. So I'm going to put it into C tier. Not necessary, but kind of cool to see. Mineral Mania. This just makes it so that there is more resources in a biodome. So if you're looking for something like Magtite or something like that, you can find it a little bit easier with this. Now, I don't think you get any additional minerals from this buff if you go for like the helmet. Like if you find one of the helmets that leads to a secret cave and there's minerals in it, I don't think there's any more there. Same with if you open the boxes that require the batteries, I don't believe you get any additional materials from that. I think it's only ones that spawn naturally in the map where you'll be able to find more of them. I could be wrong about that, but I mean, additional rare materials is always nice. I'm probably going to put it into B tier because you still probably won't have a huge spawn of additional minerals. You're not just going to have tons of Bismore laying around, which I always need, but you're not going to find tons of it laying around. You're going to find a little bit extra, which is always nice. All right, up next we have Rich Atmosphere. This makes it so your move speed is actually increased by 50%, as well as the squeakiness of your voice is increased too. This makes it so all the dwarfs sound much more high-pitched than they normally do. And you can move faster. Moving faster is actually really nice because you can get through the map a bit quicker. You can also just get to places that you normally wouldn't be able to because you have that extra speed where you can jump longer gaps than what you otherwise could. And that's it. That's all it does. So it's kind of nice to see. It's just a movement speed buff pretty much. And then kind of an annoyance with the dwarf bonus. So I guess C tier as well. It's similar to like the low gravity where it's a nice addition. Not necessary whatsoever, but it's a nice addition. And then we have Volatile Guts. This makes it so when an enemy is killed, it instantly explodes, causing damage to dwarves and enemies alike. This is also dependent on the size of the enemy. Small enemies won't explode, so swarmers and like the little jellyfish won't. You won't just cause a bunch of little explosions there. Spitballer infectors also don't blow up at all. This one can actually be a bad one because you can blow yourself up easier than with the enemies having volatile guts, although you can blow up swarms easier. So there's kind of a bonus there. It can take you less ammunition to just completely destroy a horde because it'll largely blow itself up. and you won't have to worry about it as much. It's great with weapons like the flamethrower, where you just burn everything, and then even if they don't die from the explosions of the other enemies, the flames are just going to keep ticking down on them until they explode as well. So it can be really good. It's also good with the autocannon, where the autocannon can do splash damage and hit multiple enemies, just cause more explosions. So all of those are great, unless you get swarmed and start killing things and they blow up all on you and you die. That's the big downside to this one. This one actually does have a downside, whereas all these other ones have practically no downside, unless, once again, you go through this stuff where it's just, you don't need it. This one actually does have a downside. It does have a pretty high potential upside, though. I think I'm also going to put this one in C tier because of that. It's not nearly as consistent as like something like Critical Weakness. Critical Weakness is just a way better version of this, and way more consistent, because it's just, you double your damage if you hit stuff in their weak spot. This is where you can potentially kill yourself with it, and that can be a bad thing. But you can also potentially kill a lot of stuff with it, which can be a good thing. So I think I'm just going to put it in C tier for now. This is where I'd put all the anomalies. None of them are bad. Really, none of these are bad. They're all pretty good, except for potentially Volatile Guts might be bad for you. Might be good for you. I guess it just depends what you get. You know, if you get this with maybe Exploder Infestation, that might be the worst pro and con together, because you could potentially die, or Shield Disruption with this. That could be bad too, but overall, anomalies are generally good, and that's about all I have to say about them. Thank you guys so very much for coming here and watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure that you're subscribed. That way you can get notifications whenever I post anything. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what your favorite anomaly is. I'm really curious to see, and I will talk to all of you guys next time. Till then, stay cool, and bye!